That's S-H-E-E-T. Sheet pan.
I don't think this is gonna make the cut.
Hey friends, this is Angela from Art of Creation Homestead. Finally caught a break in the rain today. We have been raining for days. Finally caught a break in the rain. Thought I would come out here and show you what is ready to be harvested. One of my favorite things this time of year. And it's garlic scapes. In case you don't know what they are, this is a garlic scape. It is the stem that comes up in the center of hardneck garlic that will eventually become a blossom if you don't cut it off. And if you let it become a blossom, your garlic will go to seed and will not produce a garlic head. But the good thing is, when you cut these off, they are absolutely delicious. They are to die for, people. So I'm going to harvest these and I'm going to show you how you can store them. There's several ways that you can store them. And I may even show you a delicious recipe with them. Are you ready? Well, let me show you how to cut them first. You know they're ready to be cut when they get long like this and they curl. See, like this one is curled. If you let them go straight to where they're like this, if you let them go straight, they have gotten hard and they're way too hard. You do not need to be using them at that point. You should have already harvested them. If they have went straight, you should have already harvested them. They're way too tough. You want them when they're young and tender like this, and that's when you will get the biggest garlic heads as well. So let me show you what you do. When they're like this and they're young and tender, you go down here to where, see, right here at this bend, see where the next leaf meets it. You want to cut off. I'm just using some regular kitchen shears. You can use pruning shears, you can use whatever you have, or just plain scissors. Position your scissors just as close to that leaf base as you can, and you just cut. And there you have your perfect garlic scape. And let me tell you, they are a beautiful, mild garlic flavor that is so good that literally you can fry these things up and eat them by themselves, because they are just that mild, beautiful, fragrant garlic flavor. Now I'll meet you back inside and I'll show you how you can store these. Now look at all these beautiful, beautiful garlic scapes. There's 25 of them here. I can't possibly use these all at one time. That's way too many to use at one time. So that you have 3 options of how to store them. Number 1, if you are planning on using them within 2 to 3 days, you will want to take either a mason jar or a glass and put about that much water in it, probably about 2-3 inches, and probably about 2 inches. And you want to take this cut end right here, see that cut, and you want to stick it down in the glass. You want to stick the cut down in the glass of water, and you can leave them at room temperature. If you have a cooler room, you can leave them at room temperature in a cooler room for about 2 to 3 days and they'll be fine. If you're not planning on using them in the next 2 to 3 days, then you can take these and you can, I've washed them up and I've patted them dry, and you can take them at this point and you can bundle them all up and you can fold your paper towel over them like this, and you can tuck them into a food storage bag and seal them up nice and airtight. Put them in your vegetable drawer and they will last for about 2 to 3 weeks. They will keep fresh like this for about 2 to 3 weeks. That's what I'm going to do for right now. I'm not going to use all of these at one time. I'm going to use them over the course of the next few days. But what I don't use are not going to go to waste. The third way, if you don't plan on using them all in 2 to 3 weeks, then you can chop them and freeze them. Now there's 2 ways you can do that, and if you want to see an in-depth video on how to do that and the 2 ways there are to chop and freeze them, then I will put an iCard. It's either on one of these 2 sides, somewhere floating up there in the sky. There will be an iCard linking to our video from last year about how to freeze garlic scapes. Now I'm going to show you an absolutely delicious, amazing recipe.
A garlic scape pesto pizza. I love pizza. Garlic scape pesto is delicious. Angela Kay knows how to do all that stuff wonderfully because she's a genius like that. Okay, so you just saw her harvesting the garlic scapes, talking to you about how to treat them, how to handle them, what to do with them. Now she's going to show you, okay?
Okay, the first thing you need to do is preheat your oven to 450 degrees. Now, I've got some pizza dough here. I've made homemade pizza dough. If you want to make your own homemade pizza dough, go to the sausage and kale calzone recipe and you will find a good pizza crust recipe there. We will put an iCard for that video.
There's going to be a video link right through here somewhere.
But that dough will make, what I'm making today is a sheet pan pizza. If you choose to make a sheet pan pizza, that dough will make a very thick sheet pan pizza. If you don't want it that thick, you can cut it in half, and you can even freeze half the dough for a later use. Or if you want to make this into a round pizza, you can do that as well, but you will want to cut that dough in half. Now, what we're going to do, we've got our beautiful dough here, and I'm going to drizzle some olive oil. This is just extra virgin olive oil onto our pan, which I have lined. You can line it with parchment paper or foil, or you don't have to line it at all.
We just dug it actually will lift out. It'll lift out.
It will lift out.
Yeah.
I use it as a sling.
Yep. Absolutely.
So now you want to push this when you're making a sheet pan pizza. You want to push it to the ends of your sheet. Now it's going to spring back. I mean, you've made this.
At least it better. Huh?
Yes.
If it ain't, you did something wrong.
The thing is, oh, I forgot to tell you, if you don't want to make your own dough, you can use store-bought. I just would not recommend the Poppin' Fresh can. That's not real pizza dough, people.
Use whatever you're comfortable with. That's okay. No, there is therefore no condemnation in our kitchen.
Yes. So, you want to stretch it out to the ends. Now, it's going to spring back. It's fine. It doesn't have to go to every corner. So now, I know this is going to sound a little odd for a pizza, but because the nature of this pizza, you want to about half par bake your crust before you add the top, because you don't want your garlic scape pesto to get overcooked and develop a weird taste.
Would it also mess with your dough some if you cook the whole dough on there? Like if you put the pesto on there and then cook the dough,
your dough
it'd mess with it.
Your dough could get very oily.
Yeah, it'd be oily, kind of weird, and absorb some liquid that you didn't want to absorb.
So I'm going to drizzle just a tiny bit.
Ding.
Excuse you.
I'll get that out of your way for you.
I'm going to drizzle just a tiny bit of olive oil, and I'm going to take my hands and rub it in. If you don't like using your hands for this, you can use a pastry brush. But I love, as you guys know, if you guys have been watching, I love using the tools God gave me. Now I'm going to put this in the oven. This should only take about 10 to 12 minutes. And it'll be about half done at that point. Okay, our crust is now out of the oven. It's about half baked.
Like me.
So now you want to make your garlic scape pesto. So over here in our food processor.
You got little green beans.
Yes, it does look like green beans, but it's not. It's coarsely chopped garlic scapes. It's 12 of them. But if you do not have a food processor, you can use a blender, or you can use an immersion or stick blender. I just find that a food processor is much easier.
They smell good.
Yes, garlic scapes are probably one of my favorite things about spring. It just has a wonderful, mild garlic smell. Okay, now to these 12 garlic scapes that we've coarsely chopped, I'm going to add about 1/4 of a cup of sliced almonds. Now, you can use whatever nuts you like, whatever you have in the house. If you are allergic to nuts, you can use sunflower seeds. I've done that before. It works really well. So you are going to now add about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We will adjust the seasoning later. And just a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper. And now we are going to put the top on this. And you want to pulse it until everything is chopped up. Your almonds and your salt are going to work as an abrasive to help chop up and make almost like a paste out of your garlic scapes. See, it's very coarse. It's very coarse now. See? And it smells really good. Smells really good.
Yes, it does. I just stuck my head in the food processor there so I can tell.
So we're going to give it a couple more pulses until it becomes a little more of a paste. And now, with your feeder tube out so that it's open, you want to turn it back on and you want to drizzle in 5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And as you can see, it's made a nice paste. Now we're going to be thinning that paste down when we take it off here. Okay, we're going to empty this into a bowl because you're going to mix in your cheese and probably more olive oil. You'll have to wait and see by how thick it is by the time you add your cheese.
Very green.
Yes, it is very green. Yes, garlic scape pesto is very green.
It's alien pesto.
Yes, but it's delicious.
Yeah, I know.
It's absolutely delicious. So now we are going to add one of my favorite ingredients, Parmesan cheese. So we're going to add about 2 or 3 tablespoons. Generous. You guys know me. I don't measure my cheese.
I'm going to add clumps of Parmesan cheese.
If you like less Parmesan cheese, then by all means add less.
Go get some psychiatric help.
And I think that needs a little bit more cheese.
I agree. We're going to start a new unit of measure. 3 handfuls of cheese.
Yes.
Handful. We measure by the handful.
We need to design shirts for our channel that says Art of Creation Homestead. We love cheese. Would any of y'all buy those shirts?
Oh, goodness.
Okay. Now we're going to have to add just a little bit more olive oil to loosen it up a little. And see, now you've got a really good pesto. I'm going to taste it, see if it needs any salt or pepper. Needs a little bit of both. And once you get that stirred in, then we're going to take it over here and put it on our crust. Now this may or may not take all of this. It is a lot of pesto. But just put on as much as you like. If you like a lot, put a lot. Remember, garlic scape pesto is actually pretty strong because you are dealing with the scapes of garlic, so it's going to be pretty garlicky.
Is it like a garlic chive type feel? What is it like, just for somebody who's out?
For somebody who's never had a garlic scape, it is a good garlic flavor, but it is milder than chewing on a fresh clove of garlic. if you've ever had garlic chives, it's similar to that in flavor.
But not as oniony.
But not as oniony.
Right.
Now, I just put a good layer on. You can go as thin or as thick as you like. Now, I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit more Parmesan cheese. This is our good blue. And now we are going to put some shredded cooked chicken. You can cook this in any way you want. I roasted it with some salt and pepper and some olive oil. You could even use shredded rotisserie chicken if you want to. You can cook it however you want. This was just one really large chicken breast that I roasted. Just like I said, just simple. Roasted it in the oven with some salt, pepper, and olive oil. Just very simple.
Now, if somebody didn't want chicken, like, is there another meat they could use on this?
You could probably use bacon. I would not recommend pepperoni or anything like that. You could use some chicken sausage.
What steak? Would steak work on it?
Yeah, I would say so.
I'd say it would.
I would say so. Now we are going to add copious amounts of cheese. If you guys know me, it probably will be copious amounts of cheese. I'm a cheeseaholic.
Well, this is a mozzarella Parmesan blend, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But you can use just mozzarella.
Absolutely.
It would also be good with provolone.
Yeah, I can see that. Like one of those Italian blend cheeses, you would work fine, something like that.
And I've added about 2 cups. I may add a little bit more. Just because we love cheese around here.
That was one 8-ounce package right there,
yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes. Just for a little extra cheese. Do you guys get extra cheese on your pizza?
If you're already eating pizza, you might as well just go the whole way, right?
Do you guys get extra cheese on your pizza, or do you think it's a rip-off? Okay, now, this beautiful pizza is going to go into the oven, and where your crust is already half-baked, it's not going to take long at all. Basically, by the time the cheese is melted and everything's heated through, it's all going to be nice and ready to go. Your crust will be ready, everything will be ready. So we're going to put it back in that 450-degree oven. Okay, this beautifulness is out of the oven.
That looks delicious.
And smelling wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
That garlic scape pesto, that smell is just wonderful. Because as you can see around the edges, the garlic scape pesto that was peeking out even browned a little bit. So it smells wonderful.
Yep. Alright, let's get to cutting and tasting. Alright, so now, you know, it can look good all it wants to, it can sound good all it wants to, but does it taste good? We'll find out. Angela, okay? Wow. That was simply amazing. You know what? We gotta remind you of something. If you taste that pesto raw, okay, before it's heated up, then you might think it's a little harsh, okay? But once it's heated up, I think anything in that family, onions, garlic, or garlic scapes, all do the same thing. Once they're heated up, they mellow, and this pesto is no different. It mellows. It's not harsh at all. You might have thought it was harsh eating it raw. It is not harsh at all. Plus, it's got all the crust, the cheese, and the chicken with it. I'm gonna take another bite and shut up. Okay, hang on. That has got such an amazing flavor. You don't get. You gotta do this. If you can get your hands on some garlic scapes, and do this, it's amazing. Simply amazing. Angela K, like I say, is an absolute genius. Okay, she's an absolute genius. So thanks you guys for watching so much. We appreciate it. So again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you just want some cooking videos, there's somebody holding that camera right now that you need to do what she says. I'm telling you right now, it's amazing. 18 years of marriage, never a bad meal. And it's only getting better. Alright, so hey, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, Comment, let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you, okay? So I thank you guys so much for watching. We love you. God bless you and goodbye.